What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin John.
And once again, we have an album review for you. Actually, an EP review. We are going to go over the latest offering from NWOBHM Underground Legends Raven with their new EP, Can't Take Away the Fire. This also comes out on the 14th of February. And this is an independent release, which I was kind of surprised because I'm pretty sure they were on a label for the last one, which we actually reviewed their last one, All Hell's Breaking Loose. This band formed in 1974 in the UK. This is their 8th EP overall, on top of 14 full lengths. Yeah, these guys have been around forever, kind of like underground NWOBHM legends, just old school as hell. I got into them with an album I can't remember right now because they have so many of them, but my love of this band has been reinvigorated once I got a copy of their second album, Wiped Out, which absolutely rips. I love pretty much every song on that album. And baseline, yeah, this is just some old school riffy heavy metal, helmed by the Gallagher brothers, Mark and John. John does bass and vocals, and Mark just riffs it up. But this band has also added one Mike Heller on drums to their ranks over the course of like the last few albums. And I can't even begin to tell you how many bands that dude's been in. I know he played in Fear Factory, and he played in Psy, and just look over his resume. It's on the archives. There's a lot of killer bands that he's been in.
Yes, Mike Heller is a hell of a drummer.
He's a heller of a drummer.
Heller of a drummer. That's fun to say. Yep, I'd never heard of these guys until today. I was not in the review panel for the last record, and I said, Nick, what is this? And he said, you're going to have a good time. And I said, okay. So I listened to it. And I had a good time. That was a thing. Yeah,
this band, I mean, all right, their discography, it's got its ups and downs. But here lately, the Gallagher brothers have kind of like, recaptured some old school energy. And honestly, may have gotten like heavier and faster over the years because I think Mike Heller kind of propels them to do so. But I'm pretty sure they probably would have done it anyway. But yeah, here lately, they've just been, I don't know, kind of like recapturing a lot of like that classic fun, but adding like a little bit more of a modern crunch to the production.
Mm-hmm. Now this record came with 5 original tracks and 3 live tracks. So pretty much we're going to first go over the 5 original tracks, and it's very high energy and tons of fun. Like, you can tell that these guys are running around that stage with giant shit-eating grins on their faces, having the time of their lives, and it shows. Great musicianship all around, very high energy, very riffy, very melodic. I mean, it's very high energy. I think Mike Heller propelled these guys to move fast, and they said, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the impression that I got when I listened to the last album. And honestly, here lately, they've been kind of bordering a little bit more on thrash. Like, you listen to the guitar tone, it's got a little bit more of a classic thrashy crunch to it. Songs like Black and Blue, Power Hungry, which they said they need to feed on more power. I don't think they need to. They sound pretty full of power on here. And Gimme a Lie, all high octane, like D-beat driven songs. There's even like a little bit of a blast beat section on Gimme a Lie. And Mike Heller is kind of like one of the X factors in this because he's still doing like the kind of the rudimentary stuff that you'd expect from like classic heavy metal. Like, you get the D beat rippers, like some more mid tempo grooves, but it's how he accents stuff. Mm-hmm. He adds like a little flair every now and then. His crazy fills, like an off time little hit every now and then, some cool tom work,
constant turnovers, tribal grooves, like things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to hear in thrash, but things that you would hear, in my opinion, more in like a death thrash band, just happened to be given to this band. And they give him kind of free reign, I think, to do what he wants. Because I've seen Mike Heller play, and I know the guy could restrain himself if he wanted to just play D beats and keep a tight groove going, but they seem to let him just kind of go for it, and he does. And these guys have no trouble keeping up with him. And at 66 years old, to sound as good as their vocalist sounds, and his bass work is killer.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, at 66, I mean, you're up there giving Rob Halford a run for his money at this point in the game.
John Gallagher still has some serious pipes, and he still projects it pretty well. Like, they don't sound like he's really straining that much. And the production here doesn't sound like it's overproduced by any stretch. Like, it's just got like a good, crisp, heavy sound. And Mark's riff work is fun. It's catchy. It's energetic. He's finding like different ways to kind of like complement the fun grooves on here. And at least on the live tracks later, you get to hear both John and Mark do like lead trade-offs from bass to guitar. And I had to look up and see if this band was always a three-piece, and pretty much like throughout most of their years they were. Like I think early on they had some other guitarists, but it's just been John and Mark up there just doing the riffy thing, and then whoever their drummer is. You do get some stuff that is a little bit slower. The title track in here is just a flat-out like 80s rocker. Like,
Yep.
Honestly, the riff kind of reminded me of the Girls, Girls, Girls riff a little bit.
A little bit.
And it kind of gave me PTSD from listening to all that shitty music for a while. But Raven is better than Motley Crue. And it's just sort of a fun 80s throwback. That one, even though like it's a straightforward like 4/4 time groove, again, Heller adds like some extra little flair to it. Dude, the fills on that song, for just like a straightforward like, boom, like he was like, no, I want to add like a little extra stutter in the kicks and just crazy fucking fills.
Yep, nonstop. There were times during that song where I almost wondered if he didn't channel Bron Daler as far as those turnovers were concerned. I was just like, dude. But again, that adds to the fun aspect of this record. Like I said in the beginning, you can tell that everybody is up on stage having the time of their lives. It sounds like it. It's in the vocals. I tell you what, when he hits those high notes, it reminds me of Shredlord doing his high vocal impressions. I can just see him hitting high notes, and yeah, Shred's very good at that.
Oh, dude, if you name a King Diamond song around him instantly, like, oh, dude, I'm so glad I don't live with him anymore.
And not that I'm not about good, fun, thrashy, high-energy songs. Like, I'm definitely about that. Over the years in this channel, I've become very happy with thrash and very happy with headbanging and circle pits and stuff like that. I don't get in circle pits. None of us do because we're old as fuck. But a good takeaway from this record that I had was The Wreckage, which is notably slower, pretty sultry in nature. Reminds me a lot of like both Black Sabbath and Candlemass.
Yeah, dude, the riffs are so bluesy. Like there's a swagger to the rhythm too, like this great swing. That song struts in confidently. The riffs are fucking awesome on there. But when you listen to the lyrics, like there's like kind of a air of vulnerability to it. Like it's definitely sort of a bluesy, she took my car, she took my favorite guitar, she took my heart, breakup stuff.
Took my cat, took my last roll of toilet paper.
She ain't getting the cat. I love just kind of that sleazy sort of vibe to it. Dude, the vocal hooks on that are awesome. Honestly, I think that's some of the best singing on the album. Like, I love all the vocals on here, but that one, like, there's just, again, that kind of bluesy gruffness to it. And once again, drum work. There's a period on there where it's just, again, like a slow, bluesy swing, but Mike Heller turns it into like a tribal rhythm at a point. I was like, dude, that's just clever. And one of my favorite things about three-piece bands is when they actually play like a three-piece band like they would live. You don't get double-track guitars on here, so when the lead comes in, which just drips with bluesy licks.
Oh, and there's two leads, too. That second lead is, ugh.
But yeah, you get to hear the rhythm section just back there, just, kind of having fun, like a loose jam. I love stuff like that. Like, that's just like kind of a classic trope in, metal and rock that, I don't feel like you hear enough.
And then you get into the live tracks. Now, the first one was done in 2022, and obviously you can tell that, they're still firing on all cylinders that they're firing on currently. More high energy, again. Just sounds like a good, thrashy, good time. But then you get into Architect of Fear and Don't Need Your Money. Architect of Fear was done in 1991. It's catchy. It's a little bit heavier. The riffs are definitely more crunchy. There's a lot more groove going on here. I can't really knock the live tracks. The last one, though, Don't Need Your Money, came out in 1984.
Sounds like...
And you can tell it was recorded live in 1984. But the thing I like about these live tracks, and especially the later ones, is while the recording might sound like butt, you can still tell that they were having a good time. Even back then, in fact, Don't Need Your Money, he's got great crowd control going on there.
And, dude, the crowd singing back the songs, like... I don't know that one in particular. I know it's off of their debut album, which is one I still need to get, but... hearing the crowd sing back the song, like he just stops on the chorus and lets them sing it.
Yeah.
And everyone sounds like they're shouting back. And again, it's just that energy and the vibe. And honestly, it kind of comes across as like a silly Motorhead.
Yeah.
Like they're just up there like, we're a bunch of goofs, but we love riffs. And you're going to sing our songs because you'll like them too.
We can relate. We're not playing riffs here, but we're a bunch of goofs reviewing music. We can smell our own. And that's kind of what I got out of this band was just, these are dudes having a good time that are still very passionate about things. They're great musicians, but, music, you're supposed to have fun when you play music, and this is a great example of that.
Now, I will say that, the title track I do feel like is kind of a weak link on here.
Yeah.
It's, probably the most lacking in energy. Like, it's just kind of a little basic. Like, again, I love Heller's drum performance across the board, but that song in particular, I don't know, it doesn't kind of scream like we have title track energy on it. And as far as the live track selection, I like the fact that they kind of went with like a retrospective route there.
Yeah.
Because this was intended, I believe, to come out probably last year as a 50th anniversary, since the band's been around since 1974. But, we got it now. But while I do really enjoy this EP, for the most part, it is kind of just what they do, which I have no problem with. In fact, I don't, want this band to really ever change, especially not from this gear. They've kind of recaptured and rekindled an old spirit here. But there really isn't like a lot of like, extra stuff on here that's like, oh, wow, that's like completely new and different. So, baseline, I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. This is just an enjoyable, fun EP. The songs, the main thing is the energy. The energy, the riffs, they sound like they're having fun. They sound like they're still playing at like a high level too. And again, Mike Heller, I think, just kind of pushes them and like nudges them forward. Like, can you play that faster? Yeah, good, because I want to play this drum beat faster. And yeah, like there's like definitely like an energy, like a vibe that they're really gelling with, like a much younger drummer here that definitely has a bigger wheelhouse than just classic heavy metal. The songs are catchy, they're fun. Nothing too different from what they've really done in the past, but again, they kind of just nailed the sound. The big standout for me was the wreckage.
Yes.
I really wasn't expecting a full-on, like, kind of gloomy, doomy blues jam, but man, that song absolutely whoops ass. That's, like, my favorite one on here. But yeah, if you're a big fan, again, of Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Angel Witch, Satan, just classic heavy metal, Judas Priest, yeah. Check this EP out. It's a lot of fun.
I'm in pretty much agreement here, having never heard this band before. I just had a good time with the record. I'm also at a 3.5. It's like I said in the beginning, very high energy, tons of fun. Again, I just picture a bunch of dudes on stage going, yeah. I look at it more as a couple of older dudes having a good time keeping up with a young buck on drums. That's what it is. It's very impressive. The riff work is great. The lead work is pretty stellar. The drum work, I mean, I love Mike Heller as a drummer. I think he does a great job, and he definitely is no slouch on this record either. Again, like I've always said, over the years with this channel, I've become a big thrash fan, and this is full of that. I just like high-energy music, and I like it when it's done really well. Like, these songs are all executed really well. The passion is definitely here on this album, and you can definitely feel it across the board, and that's what I like most. They're not reinventing the wheel here as far as any of this is concerned. It's just done really well, and you can tell they have a good time. Yeah, if you're a fan of bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, most of all, and probably a couple of other bands that I'm just not thinking of, that Nick already said, you're probably really going to like this. I'd recommend checking it out. It was a good time.
I'd throw in Overkill, too.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
yep.
There's a bit of Overkill vibe in here. Like Overkill in a better mood. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you were new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They're only 99 cents, and our Lone Perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we're going to try to do like pretty much monthly now, and who knows what will happen on those. I mean, generally dumb stuff, because
that's what we do.
But memberships are the main way to support the channel now. We also still have our store, thrallsmetal.com, with our shirts and hats. That is linked down below in the video description. And of course, if you would like to become a member and join this thing that we have. I know, God, we are flexing so hard. Look at all the thing that you could join here.
For only 99 cents.
You gotta hit the button, though. That's what you gotta do.
Yep, hit that. And if you do, we'll be really happy. But, I mean, honestly, we're really happy anyway. Here at Thralls of Metal, we have tons of stuff coming. Album reviews, discography rankings. We got At the Gates next, which is going to be pretty neat. Discussion forums, Nick's Never-Ending Collection updates, multiple live streams, both for members and not for members, where we talk about dumb shit. And for whatever reason, you guys watch it, and that's pretty neat. We like that. Lots of you guys watching this channel, which is amazing. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. In spite of the fact that we're idiots, you guys keep tuning in all the time, and that
might be the reason.
Blows. It could be. It could be. Could be like watching two old dudes make dick and fart jokes. I don't know. I would call that a good time.
Based
obviously,
on the description of the channel.
Yeah, because we laugh at our own jokes all the time. But yeah, we appreciate that you're here. Thank you very much for being a part of things.
Yeah, you guys absolutely roll. Tons of content coming your way. So one more big thank you, because you guys are awesome, and we will catch you later.